everybody. Welcome to Behind Defeat. It's been one of those days where everything I have touched has went to shit. So hopefully the rest of this live stream doesn't go that badly, and I do apologize for running late. I apologize for the intro being screwed up. It is what it is. It happens, but let it. I don't think that'll take away from what we're going to talk about today. So with me, I have director Steve Merlo, visual effects artist and makeup artist Jamie Apple, His Eminence Rob Mahoney, and director filmmaker Jason Pitts. And today we're going to talk about a little found footage flick that pretty much defined the genre, 1999's Blair Witch Project. I think that movie is pretty much on all of our top 5 favorites list, maybe.
It's in my top 5.
It's in my top 5.
I'd say
Definitely is.
top 10.
I'd say maybe top 10. I'm not sure if it makes the top 5.
Jamie's going to be that rebel.
And Jason.
Always. Me and Jason, we got to stick together.
Yeah.
What was a lot of your all's first impressions of it? I mean, whoever wants to go first.
I just really liked it. I mean, I saw it when it first came out in 1999. Unfortunately, my biggest memory of going to see it in the theater with my friends is that my good buddy Jordan pantsed me, and I didn't have any underwear on in the lineup. I had good reflexes. Got him up real quick. Summer of '99. I remember that like it was yesterday. But yeah, I mean, I think at the time I felt like I was the only one of my friends that actually liked it. I remember specifically my friend Kurt when the movie ended, he was like, "Oh, that's it. That really sucked." He said, and got into some heated arguments with some of the other people in the crowd. And I thought to myself, I really like this movie. This was really good, but. I can see some people didn't like it because of the shaky cam or whatever, and the lack of gore, lack of not seeing a witch. But to me, that was what was great about it. But to each their own, I guess. But so I mean, it is one of those movies that it's either you love it or hate it, I guess. And I just happen to be on the in the group that loves it.
Anybody else?
I think I agree with Steve on that. I think there's a love-hate relationship with this movie because, like Steve said, that some people went to the movie thinking that they're gonna see blood, gore, but to me, I think the most interesting part of the movie was the intrigue, not knowing what you're looking for, not knowing what you're gonna find, and I thought the marketing was genius on this. It's I think that's the thing that stood out the most is how anticipated I wanted to see this because I thought it was real. So I was like, after seeing this, the first thing me and my buddies were doing, I told John a little bit of this. We were trying to find out where Burkittsville was because we wanted to go camping there after this because we were so curious about this and I was so disappointed to find out that it wasn't real. So.
So it's not. Real. There is no Burkittsville, Maryland. There is none.
There is a Burkittsville, but it's the actual legend. That's what I'm talking about of the Blair Witch.
It was according to Blair Witch lore, it was called Blair, Maryland, and then they changed it to Burkittsville to basically hide the whole Blair Witch thing. To kind of say, no, that didn't happen here. That's just hearsay, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's where those documentaries come into play, where they really explain that. When I first remember being introduced to it, was 1999, right before the release of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. This movie was the perfect blueprint to how to promote an indie horror film by going in and saying, "Hey, we're going to show our trailer during a Star Wars movie," when billions of eyes are going to be on it. And I remember I was sitting there, and all of a sudden this movie comes up called the Blair Witch Project, and I'm like, wow, this camera work is really shit. And all this other thoughts were going through my head because it was just shaky and everything. But it was just something about it that intrigued me. I was like, did they really find these videos in the woods and these kids are missing and what the frick is going on? I'm never visiting Maryland ever in my life. And then I remember it came out in theaters and I didn't get the chance to go see it in the theater. And I wish I had of. I did get to see it when it came out on VHS, and I remember reading all this material prior to seeing it on VHS, and still have the VHS tape, by the way.
Nice.
It made me like, oh my god, do I need to like put like the the Scooby Gang together and go down to Maryland and find these kids and what the hell's going on? And because they were so freaking convincing with everything. You could tell these filmmakers did their homework. I mean, they crossed their T's and dotted their I's from 1993 until that thing hit theaters in 1999. From the website to the lore to the way they kept everything under wraps, which you could not do that today at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, and yeah, it wasn't because it was scary. It was because it fooled the entire world and like, holy fuck, these kids got killed in the woods by something that we can't see. It literally made people believe that until they showed up on the 1999 MTV Video Music Awards and was like, "Gotcha, bitch," we're alive. But yeah, I mean, it was lightning in a bottle, and I don't think it'll ever be repeated again.
True.
I completely agree with that. Lightning in the bottle will be repeated again, and you are exactly right that something like that, it would be very difficult to pull it off today. As far as the film itself goes, it's honestly not that remarkable. Um, what what made the Blair Witch Project um, historic is the marketing campaign, and the way that they, like Rob was saying, it was brilliant. And it wasn't just the documentary that was on the Sci-Fi Channel. They had the website, they had video games, and they had pieces of the story spread out in all different types of media. So you had to really kind of be a detective and watch the film, watch the documentary, read the website, play the video games to get the entire story. And I still don't think most people don't understand exactly what happened in the movie. And it really took putting all of these pieces that were scattered all across the internet and the video games and even the books, honestly. It was just an amazing marketing campaign that was just a multimedia blitz. And it captured people's imaginations in a way that hasn't really happened since and probably won't be again. But the film, like just the film itself, I mean, it was obviously very low budget. Um, Probably the most remarkable thing about the film that they did was there wasn't really a script. They just put these three people in the woods, gave them cameras, and scared the shit out of them. They told them different beats in the story, but really didn't tell them what was going to happen. So most of their reactions were completely real. Um, and another thing a lot of people don't know is it wasn't the first found footage film. There's a film called The Last Broadcast that came before the
Yeah.
Blair Witch Project, and heavily influenced the Blair Witch Project. Very similar story, except it's the Jersey Devil and not the Blair Witch. And it's like a reporter who goes out in the woods to find out something about the Jersey Devil, and same kind of stuff happens. But yeah, man, so just revolutionary marketing campaign, and for me, that's what made the film remarkable.
Yeah, I know that the last broadcast I mentioned that to you in your
Yeah.
live stream, Steve. That movie, the concept for the last broadcast, I found this out, Jason, was it wasn't thought up until like 94, 95, where the guys that did the Blair Witch were already working on Blair Witch in 93, but it still predates Blair Witch. I
Yeah.
still say so, even though the internet wants to argue with me over that. But
You
it's
know,
it's one of those gems that I don't think many people even go and look for anymore.
I agree. I think the quality of the film is actually better than the Blair Witch. But the Blair Witch, their marketing campaign completely overshadowed the last broadcast. They definitely were onto something, but the actual quality of the last broadcast, like the story and the quality of the camera shots and everything, is actually, in my opinion, better than the Blair Witch.
Well, you're also seeing everything through the perspective of a news crew as they're out
Yeah.
in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
looking for the Jersey Devil. And
you know, I was still in like my last year of middle school, maybe headed into high school when Blair Witch came out. So I didn't see it in theaters, and to be brutally honest, I'm gonna tell on myself. I didn't even start watching horror movies till about 15 years ago.
that's okay.
Hey,
That's
nothing wrong with
okay.
I,
that.
I was I was sheltered, so y'all got to bear with me.
Yeah, we
Um,
won't kick you out of the group.
but when I first watched Blair Witch, I went in pretty blind. I had not read reviews, anything like that, which is odd for it to have been like a much older movie. But when I went in, I went in blind, and it blew my mind. And I was like, did they ever find the kids? Is everybody okay? I mean, that's what
Yep.
got me, was that realism to it, because that is really some shit that could happen. Kids get lost in the woods, shit goes hinky, and they're all dead.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, Zoink, Scoob, I got to go find the kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The way they ended that movie was like, huh? Like, what? Where's the rest of it? Where did they find them?
Well, I can tell you, Heather Donahue now lives in California and she grows pot for a living, so she's alive and well. Josh and Mike are still working in the film industry, so
Yeah.
Not
they're
completely
not
turned off by it.
yeah. Caveating off of what Jason was talking about, all that stuff, it was very improvisational, and that was one of the things with all the actors. They had to go in and be able to make up their own lines on the fly before the directors would hire them. And the scripts that they would get, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, were very sparse in information. It was
Yeah.
just like, you're here and we want you to piss off Heather or something to that
Yeah,
degree.
they would leave them notes, individual notes, and not like for instance, they'd tell Mike, lose the map, right? Like they leave him a note, say you're gonna lose the map, just lose the map. And so when he loses the map, like the other two, Heather and Josh, really were pissed off. They didn't know if this was part of the movie or not, right? Yeah, like they would leave them notes that they would just kind of direct them. They were out there in the woods and didn't have any direct contact with the crew or directors or anybody other than these notes that were being left for them. I mean, it's scary.
Hmm.
I think that's one thing that really makes this movie feel so authentic. It's just the actors don't feel like actors because their performances are so genuine. And
Yep.
I guess you do have to give the actors credit for essentially fooling us into believing that they're not actors, but at the same time, you got to give credit to the way the filmmakers did that, so that they can actually bring the most authentic performances out of them, the most real performances out of them, because it really was real.
There was a lot of real world animosity once that thing wrapped. I mean, it was a lot like, it was very much like a Toby Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was a lot of people, a lot of the kids at school weren't talking anymore. And, there was a lot of, it just, you can't film. I don't think you can make a movie like that and have all that range of emotions real legit freaking emotion just come into play and not walk away from it with, not being a little pissed off that you got put into
Yeah.
that. You almost feel like, damn, I just came out here to do a movie and these guys basically tortured me for 9 days or however long it was they were in the woods for.
Hmm.
And I mean, they were doing drops for them for food and stuff. And if I remember correctly, the food would get less and less because they literally wanted to starve them to basically piss them off.
Yep. You were correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it
So-
worked.
Yeah.
It definitely worked. That map scene, I really thought like they were going to kill each other at that point because
Oh yeah.
I mean they were swearing at each other, and there was this like
Yeah.
I think Josh's performance was like by far. I think Josh was the best. Maybe I'm a little partial just because.
Yeah, I like
I
Mike.
can-
I think Mike was the best.
I like Mike,
and I
too.
like Heather the best. I think I like them all though. I mean, it's hard to really.
Yeah.
It's hard for me
I
to
was
really.
going to say it's hard to choose.
They're all so genuine, they all felt so real, and because they were essentially playing themselves. It was. I think that's another thing that's cool about them. They had used their real names, and they were. Yeah, I think that's that. It's I don't know. It should be a lesson for some filmmakers out there when you want to do something simple and cheap. Hey,
everybody remembers the famous scene of the tent being shaken by the dead children, basically the victims of Rustin Parr, so to speak. They had a guy walking around the woods, and I wish I could have been there to have seen this, but he was in all gray long johns with nothing else on underneath, just walking around, just all creepily through the woods. And when Heather turns around, she goes, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
That was because she saw off in the corner of her eye this creepy dude just walking through the woods in these gray long johns. It was supposed to be a shot of Rustin Parr's ghost that was hunting them through the woods, but she didn't turn the camera.
Capture it.
She turned it and captured it. And supposedly the filmmakers were pissed about it, but really it was a happy mistake, because it worked perfectly. Because I don't think if you'd ever showed what they were looking at, it would have lost its magic. I think if you would have showed, what was hunting them, I think that was the magic. It kept you engaged. It's like, are we going to see it? Especially when they got in the house. I was just waiting for it to just like jump around the corner, and it never did.
Yeah.
I think one of the most genius moves was the fact that they did kill Josh first, because Heather knew Josh, and she didn't know Mike. So I think that when they killed off Josh, that animosity between her and Mike was really genuine, because she doesn't know this guy at all, really, from Mike or Joe or whoever. This is like a new guy that was on the expedition with them. So I thought it was genius that they did kill Josh off first, because I think she would have been more comfortable if Josh had lived and Mike was killed first.
Amy says, oddly enough, I related the most to Heather, especially towards the end when she was losing it. She played that so well because she actually was losing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had been starved out there for a couple of days, I think, and then Josh all of a sudden disappears, and they don't even know. Because didn't they sneak him out, Jason?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night while they were asleep, so they literally wake up the next morning like, where the hell is he at? And then they just hear him in the middle of the night screaming help and whatever else. Or no, they piped that in through a big speaker in the woods, wasn't it?
Yeah, they knew that they were going to end up at the house. So they, at that point, they kind of knew what was going to happen as far as getting to the house, just through the notes that was being left.
Makes sense. That house was creepy, man. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the creepiest house I've ever seen in a horror film.
It was whose children was it that put the handprints on the wall? Was it Daniel Myrick's kids? I can't remember. It was
creepy, man. They did a good job on that house.
He just kind of. Oh, go ahead, JB.
there wasn't like a whole plethora of SFX. Not a lot of blood, not a lot of anything like that. But it scared the shit out of you because it was all implied. Like, it implied that, he was killed. We didn't know definitely. He was snatched, he was disappeared. He disappeared. But, it just, the minimal SFX in that movie made it even more believable.
Yeah, especially when she
Yeah,
got that Christmas present the next morning outside the tent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the teeth.
The teeth, yeah.
The
Yeah.
teeth, his
Bloody teeth.
tongue, and his flannel shirt.
Anything with your mouth or intestines, those just make people cringe. And it's like a bone tingling cringe when you think of your teeth being ripped out. That's enough just to, ugh,
I just always
100%.
enjoyed the whole lore of the whole thing, just the whole Rustin Parr and Kyle Brody, and how out of all those kids that were captured by Rustin Parr, Kyle Brody was the only one that lived. And then they built this whole documentary around Kyle Brody in a insane asylum, and he was constantly chanting something. I can't remember. I just watched the damn documentary. Can't remember what he was chanting, but it was something that they said was basically what Rustin Parr was always chanting. And then they kind of figured that maybe Kyle Brody was the one possessed by the witch, and she was the one, or he was the one that had Rustin Parr killing the kids or something. I mean, they thought this thing out very well from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's heavily implied that Kelly Edward or Kelly what was her name? The Blair Witch, Ellie Kedward, Ellie Kedward,
Edward,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's heavily implied that she possessed Rustin Parr, um, and that she killed the kids through him. So it was like a possession type thing through all the different lore. Very, very heavily implied.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I can't remember. Damn. Didn't she was she really a witch, or was it that she got kind of like, Salem witch trial, where she wasn't really a witch, but then she put a curse on the town or something?
Yeah. So she's innocent. She was innocent of what they convicted her for, but she really was a witch, and she did curse the town. Um, and then she came back and possessed Rustin Parr. He killed the kids. He put one in the corner, uh, facing the corner, and killed one, and then killed the one in the corner. He'd always do it in pairs, um, and it's heavily implied that that in the Blair Witch movie, that first night when you hear the kids and they shake the tent, that they actually go back in time. The witch sends them back in time, and so that's why they never hit a road when they are walking straight towards where they parked, because the road doesn't exist yet. And then and then and then Rustin Parr actually is the one that kills him in the house. Um, he puts Mike in the corner and kills Heather, and then heavily implied that he kills Mike, and that's why their footage is found in the ruins of his house, in the foundation, because their footage has always been there since his time. Um, but yeah, that you learn that, but you really have to go through all of the video games, the books, the movie, the documentary, and just kind of piece it all together. But that's what happened.
Wow. Deep stuff.
Yeah, that's right, because the house had already fallen down when they went into the woods. Yeah, I remember that now. Because of they did a video game like 2 years ago, where you play the character that goes into the woods looking. He was a cop, and you go into the woods with your dog, and then all of a sudden you end up getting sucked into this like time vortex without really knowing that you get sucked into this time vortex, and you're being hunted by one of the witch's first. It's almost like a symbiotic relationship with her. They're like one of the people that she attached herself to is basically your character from the future.
Mm.
So you go to the future and see yourself as still being lost in the woods, and you're the one that's murdering all these kids. It's like a twist in at the end.
Yeah. They do some crazy stuff.
Wow.
You know, the Blair Witch Project, you know, even though it wasn't the first found footage, it was the most convincing. And you know, there have been people that have tried over the years to recreate that. And as you said, John, not going to happen because it's not as genuine. I mean, I have seen so many found footages because, you know, I just wrapped on filming one. I'm getting ready to go do another one this week. But, you know, yes, I want to see all these films succeed, but with the realism of Blair Witch, that's like a high attainable goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closest anyone got to recreating it is Paranormal Activity, the first
Hmm.
one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fans are too smart now. They all know how to work this thing called the internet. In 1998, 99, the internet was still new. God,
Yeah.
I still remember, what was it?
Did
Everybody
we
had like,
did we still have AOL then?
yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
everybody still had like AOL
AOL.
email accounts, and if you picked up the phone in
That
somebody's
dial-up
house,
sound.
your internet connection off.
Yeah.
But they did it so perfect. I mean, God, and me and Rob were touching on this talking last night. A $60,000 budget, and it made, what was it?
248 million.
248 million at the box office.
Huge. That's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
think we also
A lot of
talked about,
money.
John, that they didn't start out with 60,000, and it wasn't until like the movie was like getting like some steam and getting picked up that more money was put into it. But I think we said it was like less than ten
Yeah, it was,
thousand originally.
it was like a couple of grand to start
Yeah.
off because the three actors, and Jason, you might know this, the three actors at the time were still in school, wasn't they?
Yeah, they were still in school, yeah, down in Florida.
And then they just take this job as part of, like, to get experience. And one of them doesn't even want to be an actress anymore. The other two still work in the industry. So I guess,
I guess
I
it
mean,
works.
yeah, you know it screwed you up if you had to go start growing pot.
Right. Yeah,
hey,
I saw a Blair Witch panel with all three of them in Texas at Texas Frightmare Weekend down in Dallas one year, about 10 years ago, and yeah, she was very bitter about about the whole thing. The other two had made peace with everything, and they kind of embraced it now. But yeah, she was not happy.
yeah, they said that, and Rob and me talked last night too. I would love to reach out to her and do a podcast interview with her. But last night I did a little research and come to find out that might not be such a good idea, because
Yeah, probably not.
um, she, like Jason said, is not going to have anything good to say about it. She hates the fact that she was even in it. Uh, they approached her for the 2016 movie because they wanted her to play Heather in like ghost form. They were going to put all this like gore makeup on her and stuff to make her look scary because that movie's based around her brother trying to go find her.
Yeah.
And she turned that down. Uh, that's just me putting it nicely, but yeah, she kind of turned that down. So then they had to do a CGI mock-up of her, and you only get like this little flash of her for a split second, and then they go on. But I think she needs to. It's been 23 years. I think it gets to a point where you need to just let bygones be bygones. Everybody was young and stupid. You had filmmakers who were trying to make their way, and not everybody does it, legit. And a lot of them do have regrets. But at the same time, I think it's up to those filmmakers too to reach out to her and try to mend that bridge as well. But she's got to be willing to want to mend it.
Well,
Yeah.
think about it from their perspective. Like it's an it's an indie horror thing, like what we do, right? It's exactly what we do. Imagine. Okay, so Steve, you're a director, right?
Yeah.
Like me, and we go out, we make a movie, an indie film. It's all guerrilla, and we don't. You would never expect it to hit the heights that the Blair Witch did. Like when they were making that movie, they had no idea what it would turn into. They had no idea, and so a lot of times, our actors, I'll work for free for an IMDb credit or very, very cheap, right? And that's the deal, right? So yeah, they come on board. They either worked for free or it was incredibly cheap. And then all of a sudden this thing does well in Sundance and it blows up and it's the most profitable film of all time. But the deal that they did is done. They got their payment already. But now this thing is making millions and millions and millions of dollars. The filmmakers are getting rich off of it, but the actors didn't see a dime. So just think about how freaking discouraging that would be. And like, there's nothing that they could do about it because the deal that they made was back when this thing was nobody was gonna see it, and it just happened to blow up the way it did. And so now their faces are all over. Their faces are all over the place, and they're the face of the film, and their lives don't change. They become famous, but they don't get anything else, right? They don't get the money that the movie made. So yeah, I don't blame them for being as jaded as they were.
But didn't
it'd
they?
be different if it opened up different opportunities for them or something like. But it didn't seem to. Like,
yeah.
Well, Heather Donahue kind of got, for lack of a better term, kind of blackballed for whatever reason. I don't know why, because it was like everybody just wanted to instantly hate on her for whatever reason. They were like, "Oh, she was a shit actress and all that." I mean, my God, she wasn't like golden raspberry for.
It was the snot shot that just.
And I thought it was brilliant, but I thought that was great.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant camera work.
I mean, honestly, that scene was needed. So you could see how distraught, how upset, how hurt she really was. Without that scene, you couldn't have conveyed the emotions that she had going on because there was so much.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, it's one of the greatest. To me, it's one of the greatest monologues in horror films.
Yeah,
I mean, I would put it right up there with Loomis's monologue from Halloween. I mean, you felt that emotion from it.
Yeah,
it was amazing and it was needed for the film, but it didn't do her any favors afterwards.
Yeah, no. This is too bad. It really is too bad.
I thought another aspect of the movie that I liked was Heather's interviewing ability, because those interviews that she did at the beginning of the movie all felt legit, like real interviews, especially the one with Mary Brown, when she was talking with Mary Brown. And because Mary Brown is like the old wise one that everybody thinks crazy. It's like every horror movie has that old person, that crazy Ralph. That crazy Ralph effect. I thought the Mary Brown interview was really legit. And I thought her interviewing was great. Like she felt like a professional interviewer, even though she was supposed to be a student.
Yeah. And actually, the people being interviewed felt very real too. I don't know if they were improvising too, or they all felt like real people. Like the lady at the store with her kid, and the kids crying. That was all scripted, or was it was well done. I'm
not 100%, but I believe that part of the film was all scripted.
That's pretty remarkable in my opinion, because everybody that was in this film was just amazing. They all did great performances. And I think to me, that's really what separates this film from other found footage films, is I believe every performance in this film. I don't in a lot of other found footage movies, and I don't know. I think that's the trick. If you're going to do found footage, it's got to feel authentic. It comes from the actors. It's got to come from the actors.
I mean, I go back and I look at Paranormal Activity as a good example. I was in Iraq when I first saw that, and I instantly knew. I was like, man, this is bullshit. Good, but I knew it was bullshit. And then, what was it? Quarantine, which it was known as something else over in Europe.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Quarantine come.
Quarantine was a remake of Wreck.
Yep.
That was
Yeah, Wreck.
a Latin America film, like Mexico.
And even I knew that, but it was just the way that this was shot, guerrilla, and all the shaky cam, and the fact that the actors were actually filming themselves. I
Yeah,
literally,
like the scene in the house when Mike's running down the stairs, like that camera work is so real. Like you could see him running down, and you couldn't see what he was looking at. It's going back and forth, and like it felt like he was generally scared for his life.
yeah. I mean, when I look back at it, yeah, call me a naive young man because I was only 23 years old when I first seen this film. But like I said, I believed it. I literally was like, shit, I just bought a tape of somebody being murdered in the fucking woods. I'm literally watching a real life murder take place.
Like a snuff movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one. I had friends that felt the same way. And then, like I said, I got like super angry when they all showed up on MTV. I was like, this is all bullshit. Life is a lie. You fuckers lied to me. I felt for you and I wanted to go find you.
It's still
art is
real to
shit.
me, damn it.
Yeah. I was the crying wrestling fan.
Shit, I was planning a camping trip to go down there.
Yeah, I was trying to put together like a Hardy Boys group, and we were going to go and find you
We're
all.
gonna rescue you all. We're gonna rescue.
Get your ass back in that woods. I need it to be real. Yeah, that shit made me angry.
That's amazing to me that people saw that movie and thought it was real, and like they actually had people go out into the woods looking for them. It's just like, how are you going to see that film and one, think that they can still be saved, and two, go out there believing what you saw in the film? Like, that's just insane to me. It's like, I ain't gonna go out there and get killed.
Heather, Mike, and Josh's parents were literally getting cards in the mail from fans, like condolences and all this stuff. They went to Sundance with the film and had people outside handing out missing flyers.
No
That's probably
shit.
the marketing scheme.
Right.
Classic.
I was like,
marketing.
If you all want a marketing 101 for an indie film, that's where I say go and look and research and study.
The blueprint.
Because
I mean, it was a good movie, but the marketing did it. The marketing is what sold that.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody that's done marketing like that since.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they were able to afford that spot on the Star Wars movie to have that, because I'm pretty sure you got to pay
big
probably
money,
a good chunk of change to get your trailer showed at a Star Wars movie show, and I'm pretty sure that's a couple tens of thousands of dollars right there. That's probably where half of that 60,000 went, was just to get that trailer on the Star Wars.
I would have think marketing would have been marketing budget would have been after the 60,000. I would think. Oh yeah. Somebody told me that can't remember who this was that told me that they actually spent more money on the movie for something they didn't use. That they had the movie completed and the distributor or somebody was saying to them, we need this at the end of the movie, and it was going to cost them like a ton of money to do, and they ended up shooting it, and then they saw what it looked like after, and it looked like crap. So they decided to just go back to the way it originally was. So it's like I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe one of you guys knows about that or not. Like maybe they were trying to show the witch at the end. And
I don't know.
I'm looking it up
very
really
possible though.
I heard rumors that they actually had a witch suit made for somebody, or makeup or something.
Yeah, actually, there was a design for the witch, and those that Todd McFarlane line of movie maniacs that came out in the late '90s and early 2000s. One of the figures is a Blair Witch figure that is based off of the original designs that they had in the film.
Oh wow!
And then I think that's what they based the witch off of the 2016, wasn't it? When they showed the witch in that movie, it was like this giant golem-looking, demon-looking thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, don't look at it, which plays into why Rustin Parr would make the kids look into the corner.
Yep.
That 2016 movie, I know a lot of people don't like it.
I don't like it.
I didn't like
No.
it.
I just
wanted
enjoyed it from the standpoint that it just added a little more lore to the whole thing, you know, good or bad.
Yeah.
Now, Book of Shadows, you could take that and just go wipe your backside with it, throw it off somewhere, because that was trash.
No. It was amazing. Book of Shadows is awesome.
I have to revisit Book of Shadows.
From what
but
I remember of it, I didn't hate it, but it was really too different from the original. And I think that's why I was like, why are they going in this direction? But I can bear it. Like I don't hate it like a lot of people do, but I wish they kind of stuck to the formula of the first one at least.
I think that's where my hate come from, was the fact that it wasn't a found footage. They changed it.
Those films, like the original Blair Witch, you can only do movies like that so much before they get boring or they get old. So, I think that the filmmakers knew that, so they tried something different with Book of Shadows. And in the world that that Blair Witch 2 takes place in, the first film was just a movie, right?
Yeah.
And so they do some commentary on just how crazy fans were of the first film, and they kind of play on that. They got tour guides going through the woods, showing Coffin Rock and Rustin Park House. And
yeah, I did
that.
like the tour groups. I thought that was kind of a genius move.
It was awesome, and and just the way it played on the mass hysteria that actually happened with the first film, and they built off of that and created this new storyline, and there's so much commentary in Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows, and it's multi-layered. One of the lines in the very beginning, it sets the whole thing up. He says, Jeffrey Donovan says, film lies, but video doesn't. And they kind of like, every time you watch that movie and you're watching something that's shot on film, don't trust it. But when you watch the parts that are in that shot on video, that's what's actually happening. And so when you watch it, go back and watch it again. I promise you, if you keep that in mind, there's just so many levels to that movie, and it's absolute brilliance. I love it. It's so good. And a lot of people just didn't get it because it was so different from the original. They're like, "What the hell is this crap?" Right? But it did. I don't think it ever got the chance. I don't think it ever got the recognition or even a chance, just because it was so different from the original. But man, it's good. It's real good.
I just always thought, I was like, damn, man, they went from this movie that was grainy and gritty and just guerrilla, and now all of a sudden there's this sequel with this big budget behind it, and it's too clean for me, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
That was like my problem.
I gotta go back and rewatch it.
That was always my problem with like other movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. 1, it was too campy, and 2, I was like, though it was more gory, I was like, this is way too clean. That's why I don't like it. It's not too clean. It's got too much money behind it. I like guerrilla style, film in a way. Adds a little bit more realism to it.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I see a lot of that in the indie filmmaking. We try to keep it more realistic because we know.
We also don't have a choice because we don't have the money.
Yeah, we don't have
well, that too. We're broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too many people running around with $80,000 Sony ultra HD cameras or whatever them things are now that everybody got out in Hollywood. Them contraptions that George Lucas created. Well,
I would love to have George Lucas money to produce a movie.
Me too.
if
man.
I had George Lucas money, you all would never see my ass again.
I'd buy a private island and we'd all go.
You could.
I'm there. I'm there.
I'd still make movies just with more money. But
I would too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd probably help fund all your all's films, but
I wouldn't have to do Indiegogo all the time.
oh
would be-
god, Indiegogo, it's just
I would definitely be Where's Waldo. It'd be like, Where's John? Just find him. Here's a picture. Point him out.
yeah.
And a prize.
Look
Just
for the
look for
ACDC shirt.
Yeah, just look for the big
There you
thick redneck with Carolina Hurricane hat on.
There you go.
Well, anybody got anything else?
I think I got all what I needed to say. I love this movie. I wish there would be another found footage that would try to match it, but I think we're all in agreement that that's not going to happen again. So long live the Blair Witch.
Yeah. Long live.
I think if they did something just like a little creative, because there's so much lore that is untapped with this franchise, and I think that there's potential there to make something else or another one.
A Blair Witch fan
but-
film?
Well, it'd be really
I've-
easy to do. It'd be
I've
really
pitched
easy
it to
do.
Steve, so maybe I'll pitch it to Jason too.
well,
Let's do a Rustin Parr movie. I'm telling you.
that would be tough to do though.
can call
For a
it-
fan film, that would be tough.
You can
You know
call
why
it
that
Coffin
would be
Rock.
really tough? You know why it'd be tough to do a Rustin Parr movie? Because you have to rebuild that house, man. The house doesn't exist anymore, and it has to be exact. You need
Yeah.
that house.
Yeah, because
Continuity.
fans will call it out if it isn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But-
it is
but,
what it is.
You know, like
but,
I said, there's so much more you can do. Like there's the Coffin Rock story that we haven't really seen.
Yeah.
How about the trial of Rustin Parr?
Yeah, there's the trial that they talked about. And there's a lot. There's a lot still in it that hasn't been mined yet.
You could even do the Blair Witch herself when she got tried and killed. That,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many things. I've never seen a Blair Witch fan film though. That would be definitely some untreaded territory.
definitely.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it could be done, but like Steve said, you couldn't do it. I get it with the Rustin Parr thing. You would have to either do it the trial of Rustin Parr or something, which if you watch a trial movie, like, you're probably going to get bored with it unless it's like Amber Heard, Johnny Depp style.
Yeah.
Dropping
I agree
grumpies
with-
on the bed.
I agree with Jason though. Maybe we should delve into like Coffin Rock, like find out more about Coffin Rock.
Yeah.
Or the whole Kyle Brody thing.
There's some stuff for sure. There's some
Mhm.
stuff you can do. I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it. I'll never say never, but man, I
I'll do it
like
either. I got my hands full with the Alone Saga.
I feel like I'm done with fan films after this. I don't know. I do. I'll never say never, but definitely taking a break from fan films after Sawyer Massacre.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, I did take your advice, and I did email Daniel Myrick, the creator of Blair Witch. I'm going to see if I can get him on the show, hopefully. And I'm going to pitch that to him like, hey.
You should reach out to Josh if you can find Josh on the internet.
I don't know if I want to mess with the actors too much because they seem like Jason was
Well,
saying. that.
he said that they mended the fence though.
Yeah, but Heather didn't.
Heather.
Heather even changed her name.
Oh, really?
And even
That's why I can't
even with
find a
mended
Heather Donahue.
fences,
Yeah,
even with
it's
many
like
fences, they may not
Yeah.
want to talk about it.
it's Ray something now. She changed her name. Like she just went on about her business. Like,
Hey guys, I got to run. I'm gonna get back to this Comic-Con, But thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
No
I
problem.
love talking
Good to
movies
see you
and I
again,
love talking
Jason.
about Blair Witch. Absolutely, Steve. See you guys later.
All right.
Bye, Rob.
Have a
Bye,
good one.
Jamie.
Bye.
Bye, John.
Bye,
See you
Jason.
later.
Bye, man.
Well, I'll use this last little bit, let you all promote what you got going, especially you, Steve. You got post-production Indiegogo going on.
Yeah, we're final stages of the Sawyer Massacre. I've seen about a third of the rough cut so far, so we're getting her done. After what I've seen, I think it might be still in the 90-minute area. I was thinking it could only be about 80 minutes because we did cut a lot of stuff out of our script, but yeah, it's looking pretty good for a fan film with a low budget so far. So of course, I'm my own worst critic. So everything I've seen, like, I wish this was like this, but I can only I can
I
only
think we're all our
criticize
own
so
worst
much.
critics. Then.
But yeah, we do have our post production Indiegogo up right now. It's doing fairly well, but we could use your support just so that I can pay for all this stuff that I gotta pay for. So go check it out. Still lots of cool perks. I think as far as any screen credited perks, we're probably going to take down by about June 15th. So any of those screen credited producer perks, anything like that, we're probably going to take those down by June 15th because the editor has to have those all in the film by then, because that's about when he's going to be done editing, I think. So but yeah, that's about it. It's up now. Our teasers on our official teasers on YouTube.
That looked great, by the way, the teaser.
Thank you so much. We had a lot of good reactions so far, so check it out if you haven't. The Sawyer Massacre official teaser on YouTube.
My reaction video for your teaser
Yes.
has been one of my highest viewed videos on my channel so far. So thank you.
There you go. Well, thank you for reacting to it.
Catching the clout.
I'm hanging on to your coattails. And my
There you go.
little radio flyer wagon behind you, just pulling along. No,
Thank you so much there, John. Thanks for doing that, and thanks for having me on today.
Yep, and I am redesigning a shirt for you.
Yes, I've had a few people ask me about that, and my supplier for the shirts that we did here is very uncertain whether they can do more. So if I was to get more done, it would cost me too much probably. So yeah, if you can get a shirt up again, then we'll post that on the campaign again, and that would be great. That would be great because I know people want
it. I don't want a dime of it, man. I want you to get that money and get your movie.
Well, that's really nice of you, man. You feel free to take a dime or two if you need to, though.
Be truthfully honest, people don't realize this because I've had people be like, "Well, you charge $27 for your shirt," and I'm like, "Well, if you do the math, here's the thing: I only make like $3 off of those shirts.
Whoa!
I only make $3 off of those shirts. So, yeah, not making much money. So if I go cheaper,
that's not good margins.
Yeah. I'm currently shopping around for another print on demand, but right now, Teespring, not downing you, but $3 for a $27 shirt. You know, that's bad.
The best supplier I had was in Vancouver, and I had to pay a little bit to get them shipped here, but it was the cheapest. I got all my t-shirts and hoodies done for under $1,000. So plus shipping though, so it still came up over $1,000 for all the ones we sold. But hey, it's it is what it is, and we got them here. I gotta ship them myself. Now I gotta get to shipping them out. So anybody who got a t-shirt, bear with me. Those will be the first perks going out with the hoodies. So I'll get to them. It's just shipping is something I have to look into a little bit more.
And if anybody bought one of those Sawyer Massacre Behind the Fiend shirts, haven't forgot about you. I am actually redesigning the logo, and I want it to look better. I want it to, the last one I did I liked, but I want this one to be cleaner and represent Steve's movie better. So bear with me. I will get it out there, get it made, and get Steve's approval on it, and then I'll get you your shirts. So
awesome. That's all we can ask for.
I got a couple of things I'd like to throw out there if y'all got time.
Go right ahead.
So I've got a lot of projects coming up. I don't know if y'all keep up with my Facebook.
I try.
I do.
I, 3 from Hell with CJ Vicio. It's got its Indiegogo up and going. So everybody check that out. I'm actually going to be doing makeup, and I bought a perk to be one of the prison guards. So I'm going to be one of the prison guards in the movie because I want to boost my acting credits too here.
Awesome.
I'm also going to be helping Jason Pitts on Lonely Echoes. That Indiegogo is still up and going. I am going to be one of the featured extras in that. What else? Oh, Wendigo with Jake Robinson. That one has its post-production Indiegogo up and going. We've been a little slow, so we're hoping some people can jump in and donate. But I'm not sure if there's any more, but there's a lot out there that I'm with. But those 4 right there on my head.
There you go.
So it's my turn, I
Very
guess.
cool.
Yeah, it's your turn at the table there, Rob.
So most of my promotions are pretty much either wrapped or like in their last days. But I'm trying to rebuild the Terra 81 promotions group. It's no longer a promoting team. It's now a networking site for people to make connections with other people. And it's not just going to be exclusively about just movies. Anything that needs to be promoting, whether you're a musician, an actor, an actress, a director, a movie, Indiegogo, if you're a professional wrestler, I mean, anything that needs promoting, I'm trying to make that into the ultimate networking group. And I actually have T-shirts that I am starting to design. I have a model one right now. Hold on, I can show.
Oh, we're going to get
Oh, cool.
Rob walking that walkway. He's going to model for us.
Here we go. I'm going to switch around the camera here.
Oh,
Terra
cool.
81. I'm working with the color scheme because the design doesn't show up too great. But on the back side, number 81. And I think I told this story to you on. Oh, am I sideways now? Yeah. Okay. So I think I told this on your Behind the Fiends why I chose the number 81 is because it's my favorite year in horror. I love the 1981 horror movies. So and it just slides right off the tongue. Terror 81 Promotions. I'm trying to actually do your route, John, and make it an LLC eventually. So hopefully it'll be like a legit business at some point.
Yeah, and I learned something about LLCs that I'm going to pass along to you. They're going to tell you need to file your taxes all the time. You don't unless you're making $60,000 roughly a month. So there you go.
Yeah, I heard something with it.
Because I was like, oh, God, I got to get my accountant in and I got to report this. And I'm like, I didn't make any money. So what am I reporting? And then I researched. I was like, oh, I'm not making $60,000 a month. If anything, I'm losing money. LLC is important when you're trying to protect a brand, especially. And because, one, the copyright process could take up to a year. I don't know how it is in Canada, but I know in the United States, it takes like up to a year to even get a copyright through.
Yeah. It's similar here in Canada.
And thank you, Amy. I saw your comment. Love the shirt.
Oh, one more project. I forgot. I'm sorry. Morgan Welburn's Helvira. I'm going to be helping make the puppets. I get to be a puppet master. That one. And it actually hit full funding and is now in stretch goals. That one makes me so happy.
Nice.
Damn right, Morgan. I knew you'd get this thing made, son. I knew it.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yes. We're going to do it.
Oh, and one more project is Horror Able. Horror Able is in demand right now. It's a documentary about disabilities and creatives in the industry. And it actually features Michael Berryman and William Crane, the director of Blackula. And also has our Amy Crabtree is in this too. So
awesome. There you go.
Yeah, and if any of y'all need anything promoted, look up Rob and Amy. They will promote the hell out of whatever you got going on.
They will.
Yeah. Steve's always giving me good props.
And
I
if you
love
want
'em.
any of
Oh, yeah.
these Indiegogo links, Indiegogo Kickstarter links, just look down in the description for this. I am going to set this to private at first because I am going to upload this onto my video editing and try to get that intro fixed and the outro. So,
Do the best you can with that.
yeah, 'cause I want to make this professional. I'm still sitting here stressing over that intro being shit. So, I'm perfectionist, damn it, and I have
Hey,
OCD.
John, the last couple shows I did on my YouTube channel, I didn't have my volume turned on. I had myself muted when I was talking. Yesterday,
I've done
I
that.
did a trailer reaction for My Special Boy, the Friday the 13th fan film, and I go. Everybody's like, "I can't hear you, man. Turn your mic on." I'm looking in the chat. Nobody heard me for the first minute. And I just had myself muted. I didn't realize I had myself muted.
It's
Well,
like,
I have two pieces of housekeeping that I want to do. Next Friday, join me, and I'm going to have a special co-host. His name's Aaron Floyd. He served in the Army with me, and when he was in college, he did a research paper on the Columbine massacre that took place in
Ooh.
1999. So this is going to be a little bit different from what I usually do. And I'm going to have one of the survivors from that day on next Friday. So I'll have
wow.
Amy
Very
over.
cool.
If anybody wants to join, please join. All I ask is you be respectful, and I would like for nobody to mention the names of the two that perpetrated this, because if you name them, you're giving them credit, and I don't think they deserve that, and
Yeah.
let's make it about, remembering those people in a positive light, the ones that lost their lives and got wounded. And also, I'm doing it also because Amy has a awesome foundation called the Rebel Project, where her and other survivors of mass shootings, to include Columbine, try to raise awareness and do prevention of of situations that could become a mass shooting, or to help victims of said situations. So I'm looking forward to that, and very honored to have her on next Friday. And then next Sunday, I will have Larry Hankin on from Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood, and he also played in not Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. He was also in Billy Madison, so I'll have Larry Hankin on. Larry,
Okay.
from what I understand, is up in age, but is like just a million miles an hour. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a hoot with him.
Well, that was a
Sounds
great
good.
movie, Escape from Alcatraz. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, a little bit I've talked to Larry. He's not a big fan of Adam Sandler. I guess he'll tell us why. I didn't want to go to it. But yeah, I want to thank Steve, Jamie, Rob, and Jason for joining me today. I had been planning this for a month. I'm sorry it got off to a rough start and was a little bit late. That's my fault. Corrupt files and computer issues. I've been having that a lot lately for whatever reason. I think maybe it's time to trade in this old Mac for a some of those Microsoft goods, because the Mac has been a pain in my ass. But anyway, I want to say thank you guys for joining us, and
You're welcome.
make sure you go look
Anytime.
for all their
And,
links for
and
their
thank you for having me.
Kickstarters. Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome, man.
Mhm.
It's a fun chat.
And this has been John. That guy over there, Steve Merlo. His Eminence, Rob Mahoney. Miss Jamie Apple. And the guy that's at the con, Jason Pitts. I will speak on his behalf. We thank you. We love you. And we'll see you again. Woo.
Woo.